Alright guys, so we are here on the same day to make a second video. Now this is a video of a firearm that I've owned previously when I used to get into preparedness kind of mindset. I don't have the original box with me. I do have the original box in a storage, and I do keep the gun on me though. So this gun was a cheap buy. I bought it probably $279.99 from Academy. This is my third handgun I purchased in my life. This is around right about the time me and my wife started dating. From previous videos, you guys got to see that my first pistol that I purchased in my life was the Ruger 2245 target pistol, which has been an absolute dream. Ruger really makes really good stuff. When it comes to 22s, they're the hallmark of 22. They're Ruger target pistols, whether it be the Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3s. Have all been infamous. They're famous for their name brand and for the style of looking like a Luger. But you got to see that I had the bull barrel version in 6-inch. I'm going through down the list. So you got to see the Cal-Tech P380, which was my first carry pistol that I carried, and I did immense amounts of research when it came to not buying what kind of gun, but I didn't do the research until I owned the gun. So a lot of people like to say the 380 is underpowered, but in today's age, the 380 is could be called, I would say, and I'm trying to choose my words carefully here, would be the beginning of the 30 caliber pistol cartridge. So the 380, a lot of people, when I first purchased it, I got comments saying it's underpowered. The brand that I bought was trash. So I do have a personal attachment to the Cal-Tech P380 because it was used in my first time of having to use one of my firearms. And fortunately for me, it has been the last time that I've had to use my firearm. So I believe I was 23 years old, and I digress from what the topic of this video is. So now we're going down the line. This is now the third gun that I purchased, handgun that I purchased in my lifetime. When I purchased this, like I said, me and my wife were barely just dating. So I've got to say that it has to be 7 years old since I've purchased this firearm. And this firearm is the Smith & Wesson SD9VE. When the SD9VE first came out, it was under-acknowledged. For one, Smith & Wesson had a bad reputation as far as the Sigmas. My friend actually owned a Sigma 9VE, I believe it was. Matter of fact, this is the Sigma magazine, which is the exact copy to the SD9VE magazine. So a friend of mine got rid of his, ended up having an extra magazine laying around. So I purchased the magazine from him for $15, I believe. So I got the magazine from him. So that makes 3 16-round magazines for this pistol. This was the replacement mid-size gun with high capacity for me to carry as a personal protection. So I did quite a few mods to this gun. For one, it has the Apex spring kit in there. I did not replace the trigger. I would say if I replaced the trigger, I would be a little bit more accurate. This gun, I never got to really perfect it like the Ruger 2245 target pistol. I did not really take a lot of time to. I did practice with it fairly often, but it was something that I neglected to perfect, and I am willing to say that. So the upgrades on this is, like I mentioned, the Apex spring kit. I actually replaced the guide rod. The guide rod that it came with is plastic. So I knew off the bat I had to replace that. For one, it had a lot of flex from the barrel and the slide itself. It bowed. I was afraid that if I rapid fired it and continuously used it as much as I wanted to, that it would eventually have a failure. So the spring is also been upgraded itself. I'm not sure if I bought the spring separate or if it was from the same company, but I know it's a heavier spring because I wanted to shoot the heaviest load I could in a 9mm. This is the SD9VE. So what I'm running is the Federal HST in 147 grain. Like I said, I wanted to shoot the heaviest load that I could. So the other mods that I did to this is that I did some polishing, which you won't be able to tell now. I neglect this gun as in I don't give it any more attention because I replaced my carry weapon of choice. The reason why was because, one, the size of it is very bulky. So you would have to wear this with light clothing, heavy clothing. So something with a sweater, a jacket, or anything of that sort would have been perfect. At that time, I was very slim, very slim. I've got the dad bod now. I've got 2 kids. I definitely got the dad bod. Been working on that for 5 years. So with that being said, the weight of it was not that big of a problem. The weight of it was not a problem. And now that this gun is loaded, I'm going to go ahead and put this away. So, the weight of it was not a problem. It's fairly light. It's something that you would want to carry on your waist if you needed something with a high capacity. At the time, Smith & Wesson was paying royalties to Glock because of the way they designed the gun. I'm not going to go into details about that either. So, 9 years later, I stopped carrying the gun. I think I carried my Kel-Tec more than my Smith & Wesson during the time that I owned it. When I first purchased it, I wore it everywhere. I bought an outside the waistband holster, didn't like it, went ahead and gave that to a security guard that I met at an apartment complex that I was living in. So I ended up buying a leather holster for it. My wife actually bought it for me for my birthday, and it's been about 4 or 5 years ago when that happened. There was an incident where I ended up losing my holster. I didn't use my firearm. From previous experience, I did not want to carry that on my conscience again. Like I said, I'm not going to go into details, but I detoured the person with my gun, even though I was being chased and threatened with a firearm of their own. After that day, I had a double shot of Crown Apple at the bar and enjoyed my night. And I think that was the night that my first kid was conceived. But that's TMI, right? But anyway, the other mod I did to it without having to touch the trigger is that I actually made my own grips. These are not made with skateboard tape, believe it or not. These are actually made with grip tape that you purchase at Home Depot. You can buy it in a roll, and you can see the wear on this thing. I had worn the SH, you know what, T out of it, and for the longest, it was my favorite gun. I was actually going through some tough times. I actually took my last paycheck from the job, and to make myself feel better, I bought me that little gift to myself. So with that being said, if you have any questions or anything, go ahead and comment below. I hope you guys have enjoyed my video. And if you liked it, go ahead and like it. If you disliked it, go ahead and dislike. There's going to be a lot of haters out there. So with that being said, I hope you guys, like I said, enjoyed the video. I intend to make more videos in the future, and I will be making a third video right after this on my current carry. So stay tuned to that, and hopefully you guys enjoy that video as well.